In this video, you'll learn when to add an APA source, how to word the APA source, and how to vary your writing. In this article, all the sources have been highlighted in yellow. The first thing that you should notice is that not every paragraph has to have a reference. Moreover, some paragraphs will have more than others. The more important question to ask is, why add an APA source? In general, we'll use sources for three reasons. Number one, we need sources to back up our statements. We're not an authority, or we're trying to establish our authority, so we use others who are already authority figures. Number two, we want to offer alternative perspectives, including the perspectives of dissenters. And number three, we need evidence to validate our arguments. Now, at the paragraph level, when to add APA sources will vary. In general, writers will always start with a topic sentence that focuses the paragraph. In this paragraph, the writer starts with, "Literacy can be a hot topic." As a reader, I ask, what are people saying? Guess what I'm going to find out in this paragraph? The sources are what people are saying about literacy. This is what Frey and Ozoff have to say about it. This is what Flora had to say about it, Lerner, Rogers, etc. Year refers to the date of publication, so we can see how old these academic perspectives are. This article is about the history of literacy, so you'll expect to find old sources. If you are writing a paper about computer technology, you'll be expected to have the most current sources. Let's take a look at this topic sentence in this paragraph. The writer first starts with, "The history of literacy is also lively because it's full of surprises and reinterpretations." Guess what? We're going to learn about those surprises and reinterpretations. This is what Havlicek had to say in 1976. Houston challenged some idea in 1982. Lockridge identified with some idea in 1974. You have two choices with your sources. You can add the source at the end of a phrase or sentence that you're citing, like the way it's done here. You add the last name, comma, and year of publication. When you read the sentence, the citation has nothing to do with the actual flow of the sentence. If I actually blacked out the citation and read the sentence, it would read just fine. But the correlation does not always hold, and the importance of Protestant religion, see, no problems. The second way to add the source is to make it part of the sentence's meaning. Let's look at this sentence. As Frey and Ozoff explain, French historians on the left argue that, see, the source is part of the actual sentence. Look at this sentence. Lerner has linked literacy to urbanization. Or this sentence. Havlicek, for example, argued that in view of the artistic and political achievements, in a way, your sources are like characters in your paper. They are real people with different points of view and things to say. Now, how should you word these sentences? The trick is to know a handful of verbs and use those verbs throughout the paper. Here's what this writer did in this article. Frey and Ozoff explain. Lerner has linked. Havlicek argued. Houston challenged. Here's some more verbs you can copy for your own paper. You don't always have to start your sentences with Smith states that or Smith argues that. You can vary your writing by introducing the source in this way. In Crimmins' progressive view, or as was done earlier on, as Frey and Ozoff explain. Other variations include from Smith's perspective and according to Silva. This concludes our video on how to write in APA format.